I've lived in Chattanooga since 1996, so nearly 30 years. Met my wife here, and I'm a lawyer practicing downtown. And we're very happy. We have 4 children. So we're empty nesters now. We love being outdoors. We ride bikes together. We've tried playing pickleball. We really enjoy it. It's somewhat addictive, you know. Speaking of pickleball here, you know, the good news is my wife wears sunscreen. The bad news is for a while she was applying that spray-on sunscreen in the house. There was a little buildup on a slippery bathroom floor, and I thought I had cleaned it all up, but I hit it just the wrong way, and I just smashed my shoulder directly on a hard surface and tore 3 of the rotator cuff tendons all the way through. You know, I could literally just move my arm like 4 inches. I couldn't reach the car radio. My arm wouldn't extend that far. I'm like, this is not good. I've had both my knees operated on, and so first I went to that doctor because he does a little bit of shoulder work. He immediately saw it and looked at the MRI, and he said, I can't do this. He said, you need to go see Dr. Daniel Doty at Erlanger. You know, I guess you get to a certain age and they're like, we just need to replace it. He didn't hesitate. You know, I didn't hear anything about it. 30% maybe chance of failure or something. He's like, I think I can fix this. Dr. Doty, you know, I saw him before the surgery, and then I saw him several times after the surgery. He followed me up for up to a year. Never felt rushed. And we covered a lot of ground, and I asked him a lot of questions, and he gave me all the time I needed. It was just a really good team approach. They were all backing each other up and doing their own specialty kind of thing. But that's where I'll say about the physical therapist as well, who was an Erlanger person, Dr. Elizabeth Green. They both knew that we just wanted to get back to you know, it's sort of a partnership. You know, get as healthy as we could again so we could keep going on. And now I'd say we're basically where I started. Optimistic we'd find the right guy, and it worked out. Yeah, that's where the appreciation of good doctors comes in. So we're really lucky. And my experience just witnessing some of that stuff is that particularly really good doctors, they seem to rise to the occasion for the tough cases. You know, and this wasn't a little partial tear here. We had some major repair work to do, so I'm an extremely happy camper. Gets me a little bit.
We have 2 boys. Brantley is 11. Oakley is 8. We are from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. We own our own business. As soon as they wake up, it's either the baseball gloves before schoolwork, or I make them do their schoolwork, and then it's straight outside to play baseball. If they're not playing baseball, then they're in the creek hunting for crawdads and all of the fun boy stuff, chasing the chickens and the dogs. So Taylor and I were on the river kayaking in Columbia when we got the phone call. They were at my grandmother's house. All I knew is that they had been in an accident. I didn't know how serious the accident was. I just knew that Oakley's face was split open and Brantley's stomach was hurting. My mom said that they had been in the accident on the Ranger, which was our one rule, was for them to not ride the Ranger by themselves. We paddled for an hour on kayaks, trying our hardest to get back. By the time we got home and packed our bags, we got a phone call that they were putting Brantley on a helicopter, and Oakley was being put in an ambulance to also come to Erlanger. We didn't know how bad it actually was, but hearing that he had to be put on a helicopter, it was obviously something was urgent.
That's when it all set in that, you know, are we going to be able to see our boys in the same way that we left them? And yeah, no, I've seen trauma, I've been through trauma, and I'm expecting something. I always was able to go home. You know, there was nothing that held me down to where I didn't have two-day hospital stay and I was leaving. Knowing that he was being life-flighted, you know, that's one of the worst things that a parent can hear.
After seeing Dr. Bhattacharya and meeting him right before he took Brantley back, it gave me like a little piece of calm, because I felt like, okay, he's going to figure it out. He knows what he's doing. Dr. Bhattacharya and his team, when they went in and they took this serious, they saved him. And I couldn't be more thankful for them. They made the hospital stay as comfortable and as homey feeling as possible.
Seeing both of them now, you would never be able to tell that they had or went through any type of trauma. With Bhattacharya and his team saved Brantley.
Yeah, very thankful. And I had never heard of Erlanger before this accident. We're not from Chattanooga. I've been to Chattanooga a handful of times. And so when they said he's going to Chattanooga, I'm like, well, we got Vanderbilt right here. Why is he not coming here? But now I'm so thankful.
It was just a normal day when we got the call that there was a level 1 trauma coming in. It was a middle school-aged boy with an accidental gunshot wound to the head. But by the time we got him, we knew it was going to be non-survivable. So our biggest goal was to make sure that he was comfortable and make sure that we could buy as much time for the family to say their goodbyes to him. Then when we called them back, the doctor came and broke the news that this was non-survivable and he wouldn't be heading home at all. The parents were distraught, devastated. At one point in time, I stepped out of the room to grab a patient supply, and I remember hearing the sounds of grief from that room and just feeling the heaviness of that day and what was happening. And I honestly wanted to just run away. But I knew that Chris was in there, our chaplain, supporting the family, allowing me to focus on the patient. So I went back in knowing that he would be there and I wasn't going to be the only one in this, and that together we would support the family.
Staff care is patient care. What our goal is as chaplains is to provide the emotional and spiritual care of everybody who comes into the hospital. And we're very specific on anybody and everybody who needs emotional or spiritual care. That's us. That's what we do. When my son was born, my son went to the NICU for 10 weeks. And I remember the roller coaster of emotions that I went through every single day. Working as a chaplain in the hospital, that's what I get to experience every day.
Bless these hands that pressure tape bleeding wounds. Bless these hands that silence monitors. Bless these hands that put a washcloth on Mom's forehead. Bless these hands that prep a flush and a med cup for the finality of last rites. Bless these hands that bear witness to the depths of love and loss.
From the first breath to the last breath, from child to adult, and for navigating all the seasons of life and health in between. We are one Erlanger. This is our Erlanger. Real people, real stories, one Erlanger.